The Turkish food here
Yeah.
is better than any Turkish food I've had on this road in Turkey.
That's not controversial. I absolutely
just
agree
true,
with that.
right?
Yeah, 100%. And I remember them going, so what do you want to do? And I was like, oh, I'm going to be a journalist. And they were like, you know you need a degree to do that, right?
Oh,
you
wow.
know.
You're council leader in a big London borough, so it's not easy.
No.
Woman, Muslim woman.
Working class.
Working class. So you're not what we usually see. Like, to be honest, a council leader is usually a white guy who looks like a bank manager.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
You're saying I don't look like a bank manager?
You don't
You
look
won't trust me
yeah.
with your money?
Hello and welcome to Politics on a Plate. We are in the mighty North London today in Haringey Green lanes. We're going to be sitting down with Councillor Peray Ahmet to talk Turkish food, being one of the only women leaders of a council, being a Muslim woman, a working class woman who leads a council. We're going to be enjoying it at the lovely Selale restaurant. So come with us as we enjoy some amazing Turkish food. You brought me to the North London elite, the very elite of the North London elite, Selale restaurant. Why are we here? Why did you pick here?
Selale is a local.
How did you pronounce that?
Selale.
Selale.
Selale. It means like a waterfall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's
So
waterfalls
Turkish,
on the back
yeah,
as well.
that's right. That's what it means. I mean, this is just they're local stalwarts here.
Yeah.
So Selale, they're absolutely brilliant. As you know, this whole strip. Well,
Yeah,
you might
it's
not
famous.
know actually.
No, it's very
It's a
famous, yeah.
famous strip. So some of the best Turkish and Kurdish restaurants in the UK, maybe even Europe. Maybe even Europe.
Can I tell you something, by the way?
Go on.
Controversial opinion that I'm going to get cancelled in the comment section.
Go on.
The Turkish food here
Yeah.
is better than any Turkish food I've had on this road in Turkey.
That's not controversial. I absolutely
just
agree
true,
with that.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
And your parents are Turkish Cypriot, right?
Turkish Cypriot, yeah.
And they moved from there, I assume. Did a lot of people move into Hackney?
So, I mean, the history of migration of Cypriots is interesting. So they came, obviously it was a British colony, so they came over, well, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Should we explain this to the viewers?
Yeah, go on.
Because particularly a lot of so we have, everyone watching will know I'm Iranian, so we have this as well.
Are you?
Oh, you not
Did you
heard?
know that? No.
You've not heard, yeah.
Okay.
Boris Johnson.
You're Iranian.
Boris Johnson will remind you of that very right. But we have, so you guys call this Iron, we call it Duke. Well, Iron is is it a brand name or is it what
No,
it's
it's
actually
just the
called?
name of,
Okay.
of the drink.
And when I was a kid, all of my white friends thought it was really weird. So should we explain what it is?
Well, don't they all drink kefir, which is similar?
Do they?
Yeah, isn't kefir broadly similar?
Yeah?
Yeah, go on, explain. So it's yogurt.
So it's like yogurt, water. For us, it's a lot saltier than the Turkish version. So we put salt
We do
and
have
mint.
salt. No, we do as
Oh, you
well.
do?
Yeah, it really do. But this is a restaurant version, so we put mint on it as well. Some will put mint on it too.
Yeah, as will we. Yeah. So you were saying the history of Cypriot migration.
So 50s, 60s, it was a colony. It was a British colony.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of people came here in waves. The invasion happened in 1974, so lots come after that. But lots of people came before. So my dad was here in the 50s.
Right.
And my mum didn't come till the 60s. So
Did they meet here or
Yes.
they met back? Yeah.
Yes, no,
Oh,
here,
nice.
Here, arranged.
Very cool. Oh, very nice.
That's what we did back then.
Yes.
Right?
So were my parents. as well.
We're back in the 60s now, right?
Yeah.
You know, so 60 years ago. I grew up in Harringay, Wood Green.
Nice.
That's my tagline. Come on,
Yeah.
you can't take that away.
Yeah,
from
Wood
me.
Green.
Born and raised in Harringay.
Yeah. So you went to school there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went primary school and secondary school. My secondary school was a school called White Hart Lane. Anyone who sort of grew up around that period knows of it. Well, it wasn't particularly nice. I mean, it was a challenging experience.
The only thing I know about White Hart Lane is
the football.
Yeah, we lost a lot of football games there last season.
Yeah. Isn't your wife a Tottenham fan?
She is.
She is.
For
And
my
you're?
sister. Man United. I tell you something. Nothing tests a marriage more than watching your team lose a European final to your wife's team. To Tottenham of all people. You don't need to fist bump behind the camera. So it's a rough school.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
Very. If you look it up, I mean, it was sort of. I think it was classed as one of the worst in London. Actually.
Oh, that's where you get your toughness from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I've seen not a lot of faces you. We'll get into the fact that you're the first, like one of the few like women councillors, Muslim councillors, council leaders specifically. But one of your characteristics, I think, you're very. Not a lot phases you.
I've been described as a street fire. That's probably the term that comes
street
up.
fire.
That's the term that comes up.
You know, that's
not sure it's a compliment or I'm not quite sure how to take it, but it comes up often.
Yeah, you've just that's the headline of the video now, right?
That's what comes up frequently. I am a street fire. You know.
So, what did you want to do when you at the time to grow up? What did you want to be?
I suppose it was what were the options available, really, and it seems like so long ago now. But I didn't leave school with any qualifications at the time. I had to go back, retake qualifications. There wasn't much expectations of me, either from my family, to be honest, who did their best. Typical immigrant family, working around the clock. They were first generation. And the school didn't have much expectations. It was particularly if you were from a Turkish, a Cypriot background back then. Our parents had businesses. It was just thought that we would go and work
Follow
in the family business.
Yeah.
And with the women, there was a few trades and industries that we got into: hairdressing, beauty.
Okay,
So you've got a lot. A lot of my friends, cousins. That was an industry they went into.
Is that what you wanted to do as well, or no?
No, I didn't. I actually wanted to be a journalist. Actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I wanted to be a journalist. But I do remember, and I do recount this story quite often, sitting there in a kind of careers advice at my school. Look, I was a bit of a wrong 'un at school. I wasn't exactly the best behaved, and I remember them going, "So what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a journalist," and they were like, "You need a degree to do that, right?"
Oh, wow.
Bearing in mind, no one in my immediate family who had moved to this country. The ones in Cyprus slightly different. My family, no one had ever been to university. My parents both left school at 11.
Right.
Worked around the clock, so it was kind of. I didn't know what it meant. Who goes to university?
Yeah, when they said to you, that requires
this is the 80s, by the way, late 80s.
So, we said a lot less people were going to uni then. It wasn't like because right now, everybody pretty much. The journey is you go to school, you go to university. They weren't doing that then.
This was the late 80s.
Yeah.
Right? Well, especially not people like me, right? I was from a very working class background, very working class. My parents did their best. They worked around the clock, but they didn't understand access to education. They didn't. They just didn't. They didn't. And
so I guess there wasn't that much pressure on you to go to university.
Not like a typical Iranian family.
Right,
No, not at all. I mean,
oh, wow.
Look, my dad had a very educated, his younger brother in his family were very educated back in Cyprus. So, they wanted me to, they just didn't know how to. When I went to visit universities, my parents didn't visit with me. They didn't, they didn't know. They genuinely didn't know. So I think the point is I didn't really have anyone supporting me with access to the system at all. Which kind of explains my later passion and determination to make sure that support is there for people who are like me, really.
So before we come back to the education, what are we having?
So this is mercimek lentil soup. It's a real staple.
Turkish food has a lot of soups, which I very much appreciate because I love soups.
This is one of the more well-known ones. So if you go... I did spend a lot of time in Turkey, mainly at the holiday resorts, I must confess.
Nice, yeah.
And in Cyprus. And this is, say you're coming back, usually for me it would be from a club. But you'd see people coming back from work, they'd be sitting there having a lentil soup. So it's something that people do first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
It's a staple, a mercimek, like lentil soup.
I got you.
It's a big thing.
Before we get to university, talk to me about food growing up. How important food was growing up? What kind of food were you having in the house?
So my dad had a caf.
Oh,
when
nice.
I was younger, and then he had a kebab shop, right? And I'm going to weave politics into this, Ali.
You're ticking every...
Ali, I'm going to weave politics into this because, again, all of this, informally was part of my political education. It's
that's very good.
Me. So my dad had he had a cafe in King's Cross in the 80s. You're too young to remember the significance of that, but I mean, King's Cross in the 80s was pretty
rough.
Oh,
really?
Oh, yeah.
It's so like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was off the Caledonian Road, right?
Yeah.
So it was particularly rough. I mean, I always liken it to Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. I mean, that's what it was like, these cafe. I mean, I was young.
Yeah.
Then he bought a kebab shop in on the border of East Ham, West Ham, Barking Road. this was during, again, the like 80s, when you had like ICF and inner city firm like running rife, you know, all those kind of football hooligans and all of that kind of racism that used to run.
So how
rife.
did he
His
survive?
shop used to get smashed up constantly, right?
Did it?
Constantly.
By football hooligans?
Well, whatever they were, they'd come in on a Saturday night, wreck the shop, you know, and then we'd be kids and we'd be like, you know, what happened? And, you know, my dad or that generation was just stoic, or you know, whatever.
Was it racially motivated, do you think?
I don't know.
Sometimes
it's hard to know, isn't it? You know, it's hard to know. Yeah. I mean, probably, right? You know.
But what, they would just clean up and go back, open up back up the next
come up
day?
and the police would refuse to act, quite honestly. That was always my early memory, and it sounds really, really cheesy, but that was when I started forming my sense of, you know, hang on a minute, this is injustice, what is going on here? Why are you ignoring my dad and my, you know, when he's coming to you saying someone's just smashed up his shop, you know, and they won't do anything.
So what kind of food would you be eating? Would it be the food from the cafe, from the kebab shop, or would food at home be very different?
So my mum always cooked traditional food mainly. Although I have to say her favourite food is like fish and chips. You know, that's very typical immigrant, first generation. Yeah. It was like, we've arrived in Britain, we're going to have like fish and chips.
This is assimilated.
So my favourite dish growing up, dishes I should say, it was kofta. But the Cypriot style kofta, so we do it with potatoes, so it's like a potato, mincemeat, absolutely my favourite.
Mixed in with the mincemeat, so what, you grate the potatoes?
Yeah, grated potato, mincemeat, you know, parsley, onion,
nice.
And then you fry it.
Yeah.
Then usually that's served with a salad, you know, but Mediterranean style salad, so with the vinegar and the oil, and then yogurt, natural yogurt. So that was my favourite kind, and dolma, you know, like the wrap.
Yes, dolma. Yeah. We have dolma as well.
Amazing.
So this is very. I guess I would call it. It's not too spicy, which is really helpful because
it does usually come with chili flakes as well. So you know what it's like. It varies, but this is probably for a bit more of a, how can I say, Western clientele. I don't know.
Again, this is going to get me cancelled.
How to put it?
When I go to like an Indian restaurant, particularly, or Pakistani restaurant, Bengali restaurant, I tell them, serve me like my name is Phil.
Yeah.
So it's very nice. I think the lemon helps it a lot.
Yeah.
It gives it a nice kick. Should we try some of this as well? I'm gonna.
Well, you're used to hummus, right, Ali?
Hummus. You know, it's a gripe I have with Iranian restaurants.
Try this one. You try this.
Yeah, let's go with that one. So
again, this is a real. I mean, you got to squeeze a bit of lemon.
Yeah.
Squeeze the lemon on it. You know.
What does the yogurt? Is that a requirement?
Not really.
All right, we'll leave
this is something
yogurt.
You have for lunch. You know, they fry loads of them, and then you just. You know, so it's called bulgur kofta.
We'll squeeze.
So the outside.
So this is
like
for you guys. We'll squeeze a bit of lemon on top. So I was saying, I have beef with hummus with Iranian restaurants.
Why?
Because you'll never get hummus in Iran. It's not an Iranian dish,
really?
But because it's in the region, every Iranian restaurant you go to will serve you Iranian hummus. Doesn't exist. Anyway, let's give this a go.
I didn't even know that.
Let's give this a go.
I do love the arguments about origins of food, though, from the Middle East. And
you mean the beef?
Yeah. I mean, the Turks, I mean, we have it in Cyprus because obviously it's like the coffee, Turkish coffee.
Yeah.
And what are the origins? And then the Greek Cypriots call it Greek coffee, and we're like, well, it's Turkish coffee.
Which one is
right?
right?
And then the Egyptians will say, no, hey, hang on a minute, my friend.
Well, the Egyptians are just wrong. That's very good. That's a little bit like.
It's nice, isn't it?
What do the Syrians have? Kibba. Have you had Syrian kibba?
No.
Is it kibba? Kapsa? I think it's kibba.
Do you know
Correct me in the comments.
I'm not actually that well versed in.
No?
No, I mean, because this is sound really arrogant. Because I'm Turkish, I think I just tend to have Turkish food, and I've had variations. But yeah, no, maybe I need to sort of.
So this is lamb liver, my favourite. I love anytime I see liver on a menu, I have to order it.
It's good for you, isn't it?
So the meatballs or the kofta that you would have growing up was with potatoes, I assume.
It's potato, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very Cypriot thing.
Yeah.
It's a very Cypriot.
And then what's on the side?
Usually salads. You know, sometimes rice. Depends. I mean, it's like my mum would make that at home. Big bowl of salad. You know, yogurt. Sometimes rice and bread. You know, Turks and Cypriots love bread. You know this thing about if you have potato, you can't have bread. You've always got bread with anything.
You know, they did bring it earlier. It was here.
Bread, always bread.
Just bread,
always
and the
bread.
yogurts
Always bread.
are so good.
We have a lot of stewed dishes as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's for the dipping. But even when you have potato, my dad used to have a bit of bread on the side, you know. So carb overloads, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, which is why our BMIs take a hit, but that liver is so good.
How do you like the bulgur kofta?
Really good. Actually, it's a little bit more herby than the Syrian version, I think, or the Syrian kebab. So it's really, really good.
Well, this does vary. So I've got a cousin, for example, she does it with raisins. So
that would be very nice.
It will really vary in taste.
Yeah.
Slight variation.
And this is you would have this every day. It's like an everyday dish.
It's more of a lunch thing, you know. It's,
right.
It's not something you serve for dinner, particularly. It's like a kind of, if you're having a party, you'll have about 30 of them there, and people will take them. It's that type of a meze type of food, but you know, it's not really something you'd have for dinner necessarily. You wouldn't. You'd fry up loads of them, a big batch, and you know.
And then let's talk about the hummus. So this hummus has, I guess, some fried lamb on top. Looks like a bit of chili flakes, olive oil. Would you like some?
Thank you.
Let's give this a try.
Let's talk about hummus.
Let's talk about hummus.
Can I share my bugbear about?
Yeah.
So my big bugbear about hummus and halloumi.
Right. I don't like halloumi, by the way.
Which in Turkish we refer to as hellim, right? Because it's a Cypriot thing, right? Halloumi is a Cypriot thing.
Oh, it is?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, right. It's the way it's been appropriated by the middle classes. I can't.
Halloumi, by the way, crazy. Halloumi fries, everything is halloumi now.
And do you know what? That is fantastic, right? But for me, that was something, when I'd go, you know, to Cyprus with my family, I'd see them making it in the villages, right? You know, this was not posh, it was not middle class. And to hear people talk about it in that way just raises my blood pressure. Or, hey, is your child having hummus? And you're like, that is a staple part of our diet if you're from certain places, you know? So.
Even though I grew up with a lot of Arabs who also have a lot of hummus. They used to get really riled up when there used to be all these like crazy flavors like pumpkin hummus and like red pepper. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you can find any kind of like any flavor of hummus you can find in Tesco and Sainsbury's. It's crazy. Because
you'd see your family sort of slaving over, you know, producing this stuff. And as I said, with halloumi, I've been in Cyprus, and you know the aunties would be there, like you know, making it, you know, like blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, it's not quite like that now. They still do it.
Yeah.
But you know, they've got mass manufacturing as well. But you know, to sort of suddenly see this thing as something really posh and for the sort of chattering classes is a bit galling.
Did you go to university or no in the end to become a journalist?
No, I went. I mean, I've got 3 degrees, so
3 degrees.
3 degrees, yes. I did go back. I went same uni as you.
You went to Brunel.
Did you go to Brunel? Yeah.
Oh, hey, shout out.
I told you this before. You've forgotten.
It's completely forgotten.
Yeah.
When did you join the party, and why did you join the party?
All right, now this is interesting. So I joined 2010, 2011. There was 2 triggers.
Yeah.
One was the riots that took place in Harringay. Started in Harringay, obviously Tottenham. So I'm there in Cyprus. Lots of young people around me on Blackberries. Remember the Blackberries?
Yeah, the black BBM faces.
They're telling us, you know, it was all kicking off, and I was like, and they were like, look what's going on, and I was like, oh, don't be ridiculous. And then suddenly I'm looking and I'm seeing scenes from Tottenham, and I'm like, oh, hang on a minute, what on earth is this? And bearing in mind, I'm old enough to remember the first riots that happened. You know, I was 10 when the Broadwater Farm riots happened. So I'm sort of like, I don't know what's going on. And actually, the person who I was corresponding with was Seema. You know Seema Chamwani?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, who's a counsellor in Haringey. And in
so
my
what were you talking to her about, like what's going on?
Yes, because me and Seema had worked in connections together. So we, you know, I've known Seema like 30 odd years.
Oh wow, right.
And I remember, you know, going, Seema, what on earth is going on? What's, you know, and her sort of.
How wild that you guys now serve as counsellors, right? Or have,
Yeah, well,
together.
I mean, Seema's in the cabinet, you know, so, and I remember Seema she was a youth worker at the time, so just filling me in and telling me what was going on. So that was the first trigger. And the second was losing the election, really. I mean, 2010 and Labour losing that election. And it kind of hit me because I did work I worked for councils, and suddenly we were hit with austerity, and I was like, wow, what is going on? You know, I've got to get involved. So
do you remember the moment you joined, or no?
Do you know what? No. I don't. And that's another. I mean, the person who really persuaded me to join was Amina Ibrahim.
Oh, she texted me today on the way here. I'll show you later.
Amina Ibrahim. We went to school together.
Yeah.
I've known her since we were 10.
Shout out Amina.
Yeah. So we grew up in Harringay together. Families knew each other. She's also from.
So a lot of the people that you're serving in the cabinet with, out in the council with now.
Well, two I more or less grew up with. So. Yeah, I think two.
That's more than normal though. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
two I more or less grew up with. And
how long between joining and then becoming a councillor?
3 years.
So a bit of time, but not that much time.
Yeah, no, right, I got stuck in. It tends to be my way. You know, if I get stuck in, I get stuck in. And also, what always drives me is my sort of. I don't want to sound evangelical because that's not me, but my sort of love for my borough, for Harringay, really. You know, I've worked in and around Harringay for years. I've grown up in a certain part of the borough, and my friends are from a certain part of the borough, and it was just really.
Well, I think it's really interesting that the two things you brought up for joining. Forget what political party it is, but the fact that you wanted to roll your sleeve up and get to work.
Yeah, that's genuinely.
Was watching your community burning. On a TV screen, being really far away, texting, being like, what's going on, and then losing an election that had impact. So it wasn't just that the colour of the government changed, but you worked in local councils, right? So you knew the impact that austerity would have.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was the same. I saw the impact. So my mum was made homeless after the austerity crisis hit, and so I was able to quite quickly put together the election and the real life impacts of that election, which kind of made me join. Talk to me about that first councillor selection and election. Did it go smoothly, or was it a fight?
Well, I'm always fighting, even if there's not a fight.
you
I think I meant a fight, even if there was.
Yeah, you find it, even if there's not one.
It was tough, you know. It was tough. So I did.
Have you been in the same seat all the way throughout? So you've not moved, right?
Yeah. I represent Knoll Park, which is Wood Green, Central Wood Green. No, it was. I mean, it was a fight.
Is that the shopping centre as well?
Yeah.
Oh, so where you went to get nice.
It's a shopping centre. Yeah, it was tough because it was contested. You know, I think it was 2014 elections. Labour was sort of up and coming again. You know, and I mean, I worked really hard for it.
Yeah.
Really hard. I didn't get a tap on the shoulder. I worked damn hard. I mean, there were people that supported me, but I supported Catherine West. So she became selected as a candidate. She was selected as a candidate in 2013, and I worked
as a councillor.
No,
as an MP?
As the MP candidate for Hornsey, what was then Hornsey Wood Green.
That's quite far away because the election was 2015, so that was 2 years ahead of time.
Well, don't forget, they were selecting people 3 years and 2 years in advance.
So they could do the work in the community.
Yeah, because it was a Liberal Democrat seat, Catherine's seat.
Yeah.
So I worked with her on that campaign, so I got myself visible, you know, by working with Catherine.
I like Catherine, whenever I've met her, she's been really good.
She's amazing.
Yeah. And then, so you get selected. The election okay? I mean, it's a Labour safe seat, so you should have been okay, right?
Yeah.
And then, tell me about being a councillor.
It's a very safe seat. Was.
Right, yeah. Nothing's a safe seat right now.
Nothing's a safe seat now. We don't take anything for granted at all.
I really struggled being a councillor, can I tell you the truth? I mean, I was in an opposition borough.
Oh, opposition. Right.
It was so hard being in an opposition borough because you couldn't really do anything, right? So all you did was get casework about the shit the Tories did.
Yeah.
And they would purposely drive down our wards, so give funding to other wards and not to our wards. And then you couldn't do anything about it.
But you had a great local MP, right?
He was wonderful. Actually, where I was, it was John McDonnell, so he was good, yeah.
So
but the money went all into Boris Johnson at the time.
Was he visible? I mean, I know everyone always wants to ask you that.
Not at all. No. I never saw him in the community once.
Because you often hear that about. I mean, I'm not sure of the current Prime Minister, but I know someone was saying to me that Theresa May was really visible in her seat when she was the
Well, look,
Prime
I
Minister,
was there when John was Shadow Chancellor, which took up a lot of time. Nowhere near Prime Minister, but took up a lot of time. And John made a real effort to do the constituency-based stuff?
It's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I was taught, you know, when you've got lessons, life lessons.
Yeah, give us one.
They're in your, well, so when I became councillor, there was a long-standing ex-leader of the council, George Meehan. You know, he'd been 42 years at council, Northern Irish.
Right.
And he said to me, the thing is, Peray, if you do not work your seat, if you do not protect your base, you cannot be a cabinet member, you cannot be leader, you cannot do anything unless your base is secure. And from that, I took the lesson that no matter what you do, and even now there'll be a state inspection in my ward and they'll say, leader, do you want to go along? And I'm like, yeah, because that's the ward I represent, right?
Yeah.
And you can never forget your base, right? Your base has to be strong.
Yeah.
And that was a lesson from George Meehan, who sadly did pass away about 10 years ago.
Right. So this is the famous mixed grill, I imagine, that you get at a Turkish restaurant.
Thank you.
Turkish, the smell of those peppers is amazing, man. Unbelievable.
So this is lahmacun, which is like Turkish pizza. I think it's...
What's on top, right?
It's mince.
Right, let's have a look.
No, it's lahmacun.
This, right?
Is it lahmacun? No, do you know what? I'm wrong. It's just
No,
bread.
I think it is.
Is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is. Or is it just bread?
I think it might.
It is, it is.
Is it? It is, right.
Yeah. Which is kind of like a Turkish pizza. If it's not lahmacun, it's a Turkish pizza.
I mean, Turkish pizza is very popular around these areas.
Yeah.
You know, you sort of wrap it up, you put a bit of salad in it, you wrap it up, you squeeze a bit of lemon. Always lemon, right? Always a bit of lemon.
Yeah.
Always
I put lemon on everything.
Always a bit of lemon.
Right, let's have a look here.
Ooh.
So we've got some, what looks like ribs to me.
Have a bit of pepper. That is nice.
Which I'm a big fan of.
Now you know why I don't know about other cuisines, right? I mean,
well, you just come into Green Lanes.
Ignorantly.
Have a look at that. There you go. You've got a little girl now.
I do.
How old is she?
She's 5.
What?
Safia.
Safia?
Safia, yeah.
5. So is she starting to eat, like...
Starting to eat?
No, starting to eat. I mean,
she's been eating a while.
Does she eat? Has she started to develop like taste preferences, what she likes, what she doesn't like?
She certainly has.
Yeah?
She eats pasta every single day. So we're at that stage, right?
Yeah,
Pasta. So, you know, we produce like, I mean, she does eat kebab when we're out, to be fair.
Yeah.
But her preference is for pasta. Dry, plain pasta.
Is that
right?
Is that a failure on your part?
I've tried. But yeah, no, we're at the dry plain pasta. Occasionally she'll have a little bit of cheese on it. Occasionally.
Right. On a special occasion.
To be fair though.
Wait, so she won't have any sauce on the pasta?
No.
Just the pasta?
Yes. Although, to be fair, it might be because she doesn't like mine and my husband's cooking. Because when she goes to my mum's, we take her to my mum's and we pick her up and my mum says, oh, she sat down and she ate the omelette I made, or she ate this dish, and we're like, really, mum? And you know, my mum will go and get her special like Cyprus potatoes. Have you heard about Cyprus potatoes?
No, tell me about
Cyprus potatoes are like the best, right? So, and the way
how are they different?
Oh, they're just amazing. It's a certain type of potato. They're called Cyprus potatoes.
Right.
But the way they do it, it's not chips. They sort of dice it, so it's kind of like triangles, and then they cook it with like onion as well. Like they fry it with onion. It's called like Cyprus potato. The waitress will know. You know about Cllr spada, this is.
Cyprus potatoes.
You see? Is it not the best?
How is it different?
She know better than me. So.
Like even here, sometimes when you go to markets, most of them do sell Cyprus potatoes, but even
does it look different in the?
Yeah.
It's always like so much dust on it.
Dust, nice.
It's sort of reddish, isn't it? Reddish. It's like a reddish thing.
Yeah.
And like every day, even when I'm there, I don't really want to eat it, but in Cyprus,
it just tastes better. It just tastes better.
It's the way you cook it with the onion and stuff, and sometimes with egg as well.
Yeah. So growing up, did you go out for food much, or was it a lot at home? Because we couldn't afford to go out that much, so most of our meals were at home.
It was partly because my mum refused to eat out as well.
Yeah.
So occasionally, do you remember Wimpy? You're going to tell me.
Yes.
Oh, you do. Oh, thank God. I'm not
quite that young.
In this conversation, right?
Yeah.
So my mum, as a special treat, I wasn't allowed McDonald's.
Obviously.
Till I was about 12, right? So my mum was always, right, Saturday we're going to go and have a wimpy today, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, good, great, but generally speaking, or fish and chips, as I said, that was
you can twist her arm with the fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Even
now, if you say to my mum, what's your last meal, it will be fish and chips.
Fish and chips, nice.
Which is amazing.
What would be your last meal?
Oh God. Probably kofta,
But it's different to this, right? It's not quite, because this is a kofta. I mean,
no,
kebab.
Not that.
It's not this.
No, it's the Cyprus. It's the Cyprus kofta. Cypriots know what I mean. It's with the potatoes.
Yeah.
It's fried. It's made at home. You don't really get it in a restaurant,
So this is. We call this kubide, but for Turkish, I think it's kofta kebab, right? And so our version doesn't have any of the herbs and
Adana
spices.
kebab.
Adana kebab.
Yeah.
So our version doesn't have all the spices. So this actually tastes. It's a little bit spicier, but it's got a nice, more complex flavour, whereas ours is mostly just meat.
Yeah,
it's just meat, salt, and pepper,
varies,
really. Yeah.
But the other thing that and the thing I really craved when I was pregnant, bamya. I don't know if you.
Yes.
But it's the same word. I thought it was
okra.
The stewed version with the onions and I can't cook it because it's quite complicated. If you don't get it right, it becomes really soggy. And my mum won't do it for me. She won't do it.
I mean, I don't know if ours is different, but I make
with
a
the
meat.
bulgur.
Well, not with bulgur. We have it with rice, but I can make it with bulgur. Yeah.
With the onions and the sort of tomato pure.
So what's funny about okra?
One of my favourites.
A lot of people don't like okra because of the texture.
Oh, I love it.
But that's why I like it.
Oh.
But for me, what I don't like is the okra to be too long. I like something like that.
Yeah.
I want the okra to be something like that because then you can get it in one bite.
How do you cook it though? Like fry it? Like my mum fries it and then she
so I fry it before I stew it.
Yes,
exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
You put the onions and the
yes, with a bit of lemon juice as well. But I don't.
But you use the lemons because it gets soggy.
Yeah, because I don't want.
It gets soggy. Yeah.
I don't want it to have too much of a bite in the stew, so I don't want it to be crunchy. That's why I pre-cook it before I stew it.
I mean, I haven't confessed this throughout this conversation. I can't actually cook. That's the other side.
Oh really? That surprised me.
No.
Right. So who's cooking at home mostly?
Mainly my husband.
Right. Is he a good cook?
He's all right. Yeah. I mean, he can't really
I
make
don't
the
believe you.
traditional stuff. No, he can. He grew up in restaurants. He grew up in
What's his
catering.
background?
He's Turkish Cypriot. He's Turkish Cypriot as well. So he grew up in restaurants, but his dad worked in a lot of
So you're
Italian.
Turkish Cypriot, your husband's Turkish Cypriot, and Sophia is having pasta with cheese.
Extreme. No, except when she goes to my mum, somehow
somehow
she eats anything.
Maybe
my
she's
mum.
too afraid to say. I don't want she's too
no.
polite.
No, my mum says she sits down and eats the whole plate. So I think it's just
I think she's pulling the wool over your eyes.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's something most parents can identify with.
So, last thing I want to hear about politically is you becoming council leader. Because one of the amazing parts about you're council leader in a big London borough, so it's not easy.
No.
Woman, Muslim woman.
Working class.
Working class. So you're not what we usually see. Like, to be honest, a council leader is usually a white guy who looks like a bank manager.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
You're saying I don't look like a bank manager?
You don't.
You won't trust me with your money?
Yeah, I'm gonna generalise and say you don't look like a bank manager. So, why did you become council leader, and what's it been like as a Muslim woman, working class woman?
Yeah, I mean, I think. So I've done a lot of roles on the council. So as soon as I became council, I became chair of planning.
Planning?
Yeah, I was a planning chair within a week.
If you're not from the UK or you're not involved in local politics, planning is the hardest place because it's approving planning.
Well, I'm about to tell you what I actually approved. I mean, in the first year I was planning chair, we did the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh,
so it was literally one of the biggest planning applications that the council has ever done.
Right.
So I was the planning chair for that. So I became leader in 2021. I had stood in 2018, and that was when Harringay was obviously the Corbyn Council, and it was all off the back of the whole fiasco we had with the Haringey development vehicle at the time. So I stood there and I didn't win then, and then I won in 21, and it was, it was an interesting time. I won by one vote.
By one vote, wow.
By one vote, you know. Why did I do it? I mean, there were a number of people I can credit, thank, and blame for it.
All three at the same time.
Well, you know, I can name some, you know, good friends, family, you know, Mete Choban.
Yeah.
Hugely, you know, you got to do it, sis. You got to do it, sis. Adam Jogi.
Yeah.
You know, so
one of those is deputy mayor now. One of them's MP.
They were, you know, they've always been there. You know, I like to think of myself as a sort of big sister to both, but actually, there's been times when, you know, they've provided me with invaluable support and advice as well, and that, you know, important to give them a shout out. So they were there, kind of egging me on, and it was difficult, and it is difficult, but you know, you get a lot of pleasure out of it. At times, it's tough and tougher than it should be. But actually, I think it's also why did I do it? I mean, partly because the time was right for me, and partly because, you know, I realised that there were certain things that I brought to the table that were unique in some ways.
So what I've learned from this story, because there's a lot I didn't know about, we've known each other a while, but there's a lot I didn't know about you. So I don't think you can do that job that you do now, particularly the borough you have, because it's not an easy borough, right? It's got its challenges. It's not like it's just some leafy
rebel borough,
right? Yeah,
that's what's
yeah. Unless you grew up in the CAF that was getting attacked, right? Unless you went to the school that you went to, where you described it as rough. That's got to have given you the thick skin as a woman first, working class community Muslim, to be able to take up that position and take the shots on the chin and like kind of continue forward. Do you think that has really shaped the way?
Of course, because you got to roll with it, don't you? And it is difficult. You've got to have a passion. For me, you've got to have a passion. You've got to have a commitment to what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with ambition, but people who do something just for the sake of doing it or just to fill out their CV, I've got no time for that kind of approach. You've got to do something because you want to make a difference, right? The thing is, being a council leader is, I think, one thing people need to appreciate. You know, there should be lots of people aiming to do it, right, as well as wanting to be MPs. You know, people should want to lead a council.
We've said that before. By the way, I've said that. I don't mind ambition. It's naked ambition that I have a problem with.
Absolutely.
I don't mind someone wanting to become an MP to make a difference in their community. What I mind is you wanting to become an MP to be an MP.
That's right.
As the end goal.
And it's the same with council leader, you know, and it's not as glamorous, but you know what, it's so varied. So when you say what's your worst day, it varies.
But let's be honest, as a council leader, you will have far more impact on the lives of your constituents. And this is what I say to people about politics. As a local councillor, not in opposition usually, but even in opposition, or as a local council, cabinet member, council leader, you will have more impact on your local community than a backbench MP will. Right?
It's bigger budget. Well,
but direct influence. We'll see.
I mean, I have to say, one of the things, you know, one of the jewel in the crown of our kind of my administration is our house building programme. Now, it was started by my predecessor, but we went from sort of 1,000 council homes to 3,000 council homes. Now, this is something we talk about, and I still get people going, you're building 3,000 council homes, and I'm like, yes, because they are council homes. People are so used to sort of woolly language around social homes. And these are council homes, right?
That was the roof over my head when I was growing up.
And we are building them here in Harringay. You know, a lot of places aren't in a position to do that, and you know, I hope they are, because one borough alone can't solve the crisis. You know,
but I do love your branding, the Rebel Borough.
The Rebel Borough.
It's amazing. And I
great,
think,
isn't it?
It's apt for you to be the leader of the Rebel Borough.
Well,
the Rebel Council leader is the Rebel.
You're not the first to say that.
Look, lots of people will be watching, and we don't want to harp about identity because there's so much more to you, but a working class Muslim woman leading a big London council is really quite inspiring and unseen. What advice would you give to people watching, whether they identify with one part of that identity or not? What advice would you give them about wanting to get into politics, get involved in politics, local councils?
I think the big best advice I can give is be your authentic self, because if you're not, people can see through it, and I think people appreciate someone that's honest and comes across authentic, whatever that authenticity is. You know, people can see through bullshit.
Yeah, they can tell when you're being fake. Right?
I think be yourself, find your confidence, and I think that some of that, particularly when you are from a certain background, comes with age and experience. But you know, and find your allies, Find people that you can vent to when you are having a bad day, when you do feel overlooked, when you've made a point and you've been ignored, you know, when someone else is credited with that. Find allies, find good friends, find your tribe. That's a very common bit of advice in politics, isn't it? Find your tribe and be yourself.
And what's your most controversial food take? You've done the halloumi one already.
I have,
right?
I have.
The appropriation of halloumi.
I do think, and I will caveat this, I do think Italian food is a bit overrated. It's always wonderful, and I just think it's a bit of pasta quite often, right? Having said that...
Can I tell you what that is?
Oh, can I give the caveat?
Yeah.
Because, you know, one of my good friends I grew up with is Sicilian. I don't want her to see it. So when I went to Sicily, I had some of the best food ever. But I do think some of the sort of day-to-day food's a bit overrated, right?
Is that not just Sophia eating pasta and you're...
Am I just bitter?
Yeah, you're just lashing out at all the Italians.
I think so. It's true. It's true.
Right. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Councillor Peray Ahmed.
No, thank
Ahmed from the mighty North London. Listen, put your most controversial takes in the comments. Subscribe, like the video, share the video. We're going to get lots more on the Politics on a Plate series coming your way. So please share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.